going? Welcome back to Belle Today Baby. So today I really want to talk about something that I find important that I feel a lot of first-time moms will appreciate. I know that I wish I had this information when I was a first-time mom to my son. So that is my newborn essentials. I'm going to talk about a few different things, not necessarily big purchases like a crib or a car seat or a stroller. All of those things I'm going to leave out of this video just because those are self-explanatory. Most people kind of have an idea of what they want for those purchases as well. So I'm just going to talk about my top newborn essentials that I think are really important for at least the first 6 months of your child's life, and then beyond that you can maybe include a couple other things. But this is really going to talk about the main things you'll need for your newborn baby. I hope that you guys enjoy. Stick around, and if you want to hear more about my newborn essentials, please keep watching. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to discuss are clothing. So I know for myself and for many moms, clothing is a really big thing because there's so many cute outfits. Every store you go into, there's just outfits and outfits and outfits, and you can't help yourself from going to those aisles. And as soon as you know what you're having, or even if you don't know what you're having for a baby, you're just so excited. All the outfits are so cute and you just want to purchase everything. And I know myself, I was like that as well. But realistically, I never ended up using a lot of the cute outfits, especially from a newborn size to about 3 months. I had purchased things, for the intention of my son wearing them, but I just never really put him in anything complicated. When babies are newborn to about 3 months, they sleep a lot. They're laying down a lot. They can't walk or anything, obviously, and they're in your arms or they're sleeping most of the time. So what's really important is for them to be comfortable. And what I found my son was most comfortable in were onesies or pajama sets, either with the zipper or with the snaps. Now, these are the best just because they're quick changing. You can get your baby in and out really fast so that they're not uncomfortable and fussy. That is key for when you're doing late night changes. The last thing you want is to wake your baby up at, let's say, 3 in the morning because you're taking too long to change their outfit, and then they get fussy and they start having a tantrum, and then nobody's happy at that point. So again, with the zipper or the snap, I do have an example here. This is the outfit that I'll be bringing my second newborn home in. He's supposed to be due in July. So yeah, this is exactly the kind of outfit I'm talking about. It's just a plain pajama. It has the hand covers, so when they're newborn, they have really sharp nails and they like scratch at their face and everything. So these are really great, and they're just snap. They're really warm and really comfortable, and that's a perfect outfit for your baby to sleep in. They're really comfortable, but they're not too hot. That's a really thin material. I got that from Carter's, by the way. And that's something perfect for a newborn. Although it may be tempting to get all the cute outfits, I would hold off generally until after about 3 months, just until you get the hang of each other. The sleep schedule is better. They're more comfortable. They're able to regulate their temperature better. So I would definitely suggest getting some of those. Or the snap, like the short sleeve. Definitely take into consideration when your child will be born. That may fluctuate a little bit, but if your child will be born in the winter, you just layer a little bit more, and this method should still work perfect. So yeah, definitely save the cute outfits for until about after 3 months. I just find that worked best for me. The next thing that I think is really important is burping cloths. Now, these, again, you don't have to get a ton of them. They don't have to be fancy. I have an example right here of one. They're pretty big. They're pretty long. You can really find them anywhere. I think those are from Carter's as well. And they're really great because especially when you're out and about with your baby, whenever you're feeding them, they generally have to burp, especially when they're really young. And most times a little bit of milk will come out or something will spill, and those are just great to clean up any mess. They're easy to clean, easy to throw in the washing machine. I would suggest picking up a good amount of those to keep on hand, whether in your diaper bag or at your home, anywhere. They're just great to have, and I really recommend getting some of those. Definitely another essential that me and my husband used a lot when our son was first born were muslin swaddle blankets. I have an example to show you guys here, and these are so fantastic. This one I think I got from Winners, and what's really great about these is the size and the material of them. So they're really stretchy, if you guys can tell. They're really thin as well, and big. So when your baby is first born, they're most comfortable either in your arms or swaddled. I feel like when your baby is swaddled or snuggled, that's when they sleep the best. That's when they're the most comfortable. So those swaddle blankets are really great because you can open it up really big and have them lay in it, and you can really get them tight in there without them being uncomfortable. I feel like the muslin swaddle blankets are great, and they're really the best option that I found. I tried to use regular blankets or something like that to get the baby nice and comfortable, but for my son, he didn't like the blankets. The swaddle blankets worked great. They stayed nice and compact, and they kept him wrapped in there so he felt comfortable the whole time he was sleeping. They didn't come loose, and what's also great about them is that it prevents the baby from moving around and getting their arms out and like scratching their face, things like that. It keeps them really nice and comforted, so it's great for sleeping. Trust me, you need some of those. You'll sleep a lot better when your newborn comes home. When it comes to diapers and wipes, I know that this is really a personal preference for most people. I myself have tried both cloth and disposable diapers, and what I found that worked the best for me was disposable. You can definitely do whatever you feel most comfortable with, but for the convenience purposes, I really like disposable diapers just because I could change my son and get rid of the diaper. That was the end of it. I didn't need to clean the diapers after. I just found that that was inconvenient for me. I can move on to the wipes. So for myself, I tried the cloth wipes or the disposable ones. I again chose the disposable just because you don't have to wet them. They're already wet because they come in a package. And the ones I decided to use were the most natural ones usually without a scent. My son had very sensitive skin, and newborns generally do have sensitive skin in general, so it's just best to get them a wipe that is very sensitive, very gentle on their skin. But yeah, wipes is another personal preference thing. You kind of do what you feel is the best and most comfortable for your baby. Definitely another essential in the diapering category would be a diaper pail or a diaper genie, some sort of disposable diaper garbage system, because trust me, when you're changing your baby so often, your house can tend to get really smelly if you just put them in a regular garbage. So what's great about a diaper genie or a diaper pail is you can seal it up so all the disgusting smell stays in there. They don't linger around your house, and they can be pretty inexpensive. You can splurge and get, a high-end one, but really any diaper pail with a lid will do the trick, and I highly recommend getting one of those, especially before your baby comes. Another thing that I found was really great that I'll definitely be buying for my second child. I unfortunately didn't have one for my first baby, but I've heard some great things about them, and I'm definitely going to give it a try, would be a wipe warmer. Now, necessarily, I don't know if this is a necessity. Definitely for me, living in Canada, I find that that's a necessity just because wipes here, even in summertime, they tend to be cold when they stay in the package with all the liquid in there. So with a wipe warmer, it keeps the wipes at least a room temperature. And when you're changing a newborn, like I said again, they get very cold very fast. So the last thing you want to do is use a freezing cold wipe on your baby. They're going to scream and have a tantrum, and good luck getting them back to sleep. So definitely a wipe warmer would be a great option. Again, they're not very expensive. I'll probably get mine secondhand from somebody to save even more money, but I'm definitely excited to be getting one of those for my second child. Now, something else that's really important to get before your baby comes is like a toiletry kit that has, a nail clipper and a temperature, like a thermometer in there. and one of those nasal aspirators, as well as Diaper Rash ointment or cream. Those things I find were the things I used the most with my son. The nail clipper you won't be using at first. It takes a while for your child's nails to grow, but it's nice just to have it on hand just in case. You also would like to have a comb. You want to, style your child's hair, so a comb is always nice. The nasal aspirator, I found that very important. Whenever your child is really young and they get, snot in their nose, they're tending to get sick, whether it be from, allergies or from immunizations, anything like that, you really want a nasal aspirator to help get all the snot out of their nose. It's very uncomfortable for them. I know that my son hated it, but it's really a lifesaver for you because until they're older, there's not really any other way to get all of that out of their nose. So definitely I would suggest getting one of those. And then obviously a thermometer, just because that's kind of common sense. Whenever they're sick or, fussy, you want to check their temperature, make sure that they're not overheated, that they don't have a fever. So a thermometer is great to have. There's really a lot of kits out there that you can find that has all of these items, but you can also buy them separate. It's kind of personal preference again. I used the Safety First kit, I believe, and that had everything. It worked great. So that's what I used. I liked it. It was good. It worked for me. So really any of those, just make sure that, especially the thermometer, works really well, that it's accurate, because that's very important. You want to make sure that your baby never has a fever, that they never get into that serious range of being overheated that's very serious. So that's something to keep in mind. And then another thing is a diaper rash ointment. So when your baby is young, they tend to get diaper rash a lot just because, again, their skin is very sensitive and they wear diapers all the time. They're always being changed constantly. So their skin gets very irritated. So there's many options out there for diaper rash creams and ointments. The one that I really love is this one. It's Grandma L's Diaper Rash Ointment. It's made in the USA. It's a very natural option. I still use that today. I bought that when my son was first born, and I still use it now. That's how little of it you need. And it's great. It's kind of like a petroleum jelly like substance, and it just heals the rash so quickly. I put it on my son like a night, and then the next morning his rash is gone. I find that that one has worked the best for me, and it's really nice to have something like that just because rashes get very uncomfortable on anybody, but especially a newborn. They're very fussy and they don't like to be uncomfortable. So if you can get rid of that problem as soon as possible, then that's great, and I really loved that option. And then the last thing in this category I would say would be an infant Tylenol or something like that, acetaminophen. Any kind of medication that's pertaining to babies is very important. When you first have your baby, they have to get all of these horrible immunizations. I know no one wants to do them, or maybe you don't get them done, but I got that done for my son. And when they're so small, it's so heartbreaking to see them in pain and to see them get a fever. They react to things like that so much easier because they're just new. They just came out of the womb, so they're all, they're very susceptible to getting sick and getting ill. So an acetaminophen or an infant Tylenol is very important to try to keep their fever down, regulate everything in their body to get them as comfortable as possible until the side effects of those things wear off. So that's another thing I would suggest is very important to pick up before your child comes. Another thing that you will definitely want to pick up will be a diaper bag. Now there's so many options out there for diaper bag. I know with my first child I just got a regular like satchel type that was big. It had a long strap on it, and that worked for a little while, but I found that as my child's gotten older, it's been very inconvenient. So what I would suggest is getting a diaper bag backpack / messenger bag. So it has kind of 3 bags in one. I know it may seem kind of excessive at the beginning, but trust me, as your child gets older, it's a lifesaver to be able to transition from a messenger bag to a backpack to kind of like a purse style. Plus you can get so many on Amazon. There's so many available out there in all kinds of price ranges. I personally will probably end up getting a cloth type for my next baby, just because they're the easiest to clean. I will link below the one I am planning on getting for my second child, and it's very nice to transition into a backpack, especially when your child gets to about 6 months of age, even up to what my son is now. He's 2 years old, and you don't want to be carrying a bag on your arm when you're trying to carry a baby at the same time. It's very inconvenient. So the backpack option is great, and I would highly recommend getting a backpack messenger style. Now onto bathing. This is, a personal preference as well. When your baby is first born, you don't want to bathe them too often. I would say I bathed my son about twice a week when he was first born, just so that he was clean and fresh, but not that he was too overbathed. I think I ended up getting a kit from my baby shower, and it had a shampoo, a lotion, all of those kind of things. That's really all you need. You just need like a basic baby lotion, baby shampoo, and baby wash. And then obviously you would have a comb of some sort from possibly the kit that you got that I mentioned earlier. And then a baby towel is also great. So those are my essentials for bathing. Possibly a newborn bathtub. You could really figure out other ways to bathe your baby. If you choose to go that route, that's up to you. I just used, I think, a plastic tub style baby bathtub from like Walmart or something, and those work great. For the amount of time you're going to use it at first, it's not very important. So really do what's best for you, but those are the things I found were the necessities at first. Another thing that's great to pick up early on would be a soother. These, it's kind of hard to tell what your baby will like. Every baby is different, but there's many different options out there for soothers. It's great when they're trying to sleep at first if they're not feeding, to give them a soother. Just it soothes them. Obviously that's why it's called a soother or a pacifier. It just soothes them, that makes them feel a lot more comfortable. So that's great to have on hand. When your baby first comes home, they might not like it. Some babies don't like it. I know that my son loved his soother. It was hard for us to get rid of it once we didn't want him to have it anymore, but at first it's really great to have. So now moving on to the feeding portion / nursing. Obviously if you aren't nursing, then that is totally a personal preference. I nursed at the beginning with my son. He latched on pretty well, and obviously when you're first breastfeeding, it's kind of overwhelming because you've never done it before. So it's kind of a hard transition to get used to. But the necessities you'll need for nursing and feeding your child will obviously be some bottles and milk bags if you're going to be doing the breastfeeding route, and then also a breast pump. You don't need a ton of bottles at first. You just need like the small ones. My son really liked the Event bottles. He really enjoyed those. I think I had about 5 of them, and I just washed them as he needed them, kind of thing. Those worked great for us. You don't need to get a ton of bottles at first, again, like I said, because you won't be needing that many. As your child gets older, they will need the bigger size, like I believe it's 3 ounces and then 9 ounces. As your child gets older, they will need the bigger size. So just keep that in mind if you want to get all sizes at the beginning, or if you want to get, some sporadically and just kind of move your way up. That's totally up to you. And then again, if you're going to be formula feeding, you will obviously need the bottles as well. Do your research on bottles. There's tons of great options out there. I heard great things about the Dr. Brown's, the Event, all of those. Just do your research, find what you think is the best. You even pick up a few different ones of each, or of a couple different brands, because you never know what your baby will like. You will also need a bottle cleaner of some kind. They're usually pretty inexpensive. You can get them from anywhere. I decided to hand wash bottles personally because I found I put a couple in the dishwasher once and it morphed the bottle where the nipple didn't fit on properly. So I decided to wash them by hand. It's really not too bad. It's not too much work. And I found that I really got a good clean out of them, and that I felt comfortable for my baby to use them because I knew that I was cleaning them myself. So that's another thing that's really important to get, is some sort of bottle cleaner. Okay guys, and my last necessity would be a bouncer or a swing. Now I know that many times people don't feel like they would use this, or I know for myself I didn't actually get one at first for my son, But as he got older, I realized that I still needed to do stuff around the house. Same with my husband, or whenever we went to the grandparents' house, that kind of thing. You don't always want to be holding the baby or having them in the crib. Sometimes you want them around you in the area that you're at so you can keep an eye on them, and just their presence is really nice. So a bouncer or a swing is perfect if they like that movement. Some babies don't, but my son loved it. He loved being in the car seat. All those kind of movements really soothed him. So we got him a swing and he loved it. Yeah, he loved being in the swing. Whenever I would need to do some chores, maybe I was cooking, I could have him in the kitchen with me in the swing and watch him, and he would be sleeping. A lot of swings have music and like bouncing motions and those kind of things to make your baby feel really comfortable. So that's a great option for when you're trying to do housework or anything around the house that you used to do with your old routine that now it's changed. So it keeps your baby safe and occupied, and you can watch them, but they're still, safe and comfortable. I'll link the one down below that I had, and I'll also show a picture up here so you guys can see the one that I used. It was pretty inexpensive and it did the job. You can get ones that use batteries or plug-in, whichever is up to you. It's your preference. Obviously the one that plugs into the wall saves you from having to get batteries. So that's the option I chose. Alright everyone, so that is my newborn essentials. I really took my time to go through everything that I thought would be very important to share with you guys. I really hope you enjoy. Please leave your favorite baby necessities down below. Maybe you have some that I've missed, and I'm having a new baby soon, so I'd be interested to hear your suggestions. So please leave your must-have products down below too. We can share with each other, and that would be great. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.